Good evening, viewers, those who are watching us from within Uganda and those who are in the diaspora. We are glad you have made NTV your #1 station. And we are also happy you have made People's Parliament your favorite program. Of course, it's the only program that gives citizens an opportunity to speak about issues that affect their everyday life. Tonight, we are in Kampala, and we are going to discuss a very, very important topic that does not only affect Kampala, but the entire country. We are talking about the welfare of teachers. You are who you are because of a teacher. I am who I am because of a teacher. So we are going to talk about matters that affect teachers. As you are aware, the teachers have been going on strike for a number of years because of their salary enhancement. But whenever they strike, the president calls them, they come down and go to class. We want to thank teachers for that solidarity. Now they are here with us to discuss. You are welcome, honorable members, to NTV People's Parliament. But before we begin, I would like to invite the General Secretary of the Union to give us a preamble of what has happened with the salary enhancement of teachers over years. You are too patient. Please take the platform, honorable member.
The teachers' welfare, and most especially enhancement, has been an issue over time from the 1940s.
Before I was born.
Before you were born, and I think before any honorable member of this house was born, the teachers in this country have always negotiated and come up to be heard in regard to their remuneration. Where we are now, here on Bombo Road, plot 2830, this building was constructed by teachers who came together in the 1960s. And as a result, we have always gathered here as our home to discuss the issues that affect the teachers of this country. And one pertinent issue is that the teachers have done their part to nurture all professions in the country. Whoever is here in this house is a product of teachers. And you should be thanking God. If the teachers were not there, where would you be today? And therefore, knowing how to read and write, you should always wake up to thank the teacher who made you what you are. Possibly who made this country what it is.
Despite the meager salaries that they get.
Now, when I come to that part of nationalism and patriotism, the teachers are the most patriotic Ugandans we can have. When you look at the salary a teacher earns, Honorable Speaker and honorable members of the House, a teacher earns 390,000 shillings. And this 390,000 shillings...
A primary teacher or secondary teacher?
Primary teacher, grade 3 teacher.
Grade 3 teacher.
And this 390,000 shillings is arrived at after deducting the taxes. Government, in its own wisdom, takes this money to be consolidated. In a sense that part of the 390 must cater for your transport from where you stay up to where you work. It must cater for your lunch and break tea while executing your duties. It must cater for accommodation. And honorable Speaker and honorable members, accommodation in some of these urban areas, a self-contained room can go for around 250,000 if you are lucky. And if you want one that is slightly less than that, it means you have to go to the outskirts of the city. Now, the farther you move, the more transport you will pay. But remember, the 390 is consolidated. Transport, accommodation, medical, feeding, and then you have the basics in a home.
So how do you people survive? How have you been surviving?
That's why I said the most patriotic Ugandans are teachers. That is the amount of money. That is the amount of money you take.
Honorable member, is that the reason? Because we have information that teachers, their side work is riding border borders. Is that the reason they have to ride border borders to ensure that they cater for the family and take their children to school?
I don't want to take it that border riders are teachers. However, if one or two teachers ride border to make ends meet, it is not enough to say teachers are doing the border riding. Okay. Honorable Speaker, if you go to Sheraton, if you go to Serena or Hotel Africana, 390 is breakfast. You pay it, and if you are not lucky, you may need to add on. And that is what a teacher survives on with the family and the other dependents. And therefore, when we talk about the salary of a teacher, when we talk about teachers coming out to say, government, look here, there is a need to enhance the teacher's salary, we mean that a teacher must be supported to do his or her work. Okay. In the event where you find a teacher is lamenting every other time, it means you are affecting the innocent learner, because teaching is psychological, and therefore if you leave home and your family members do not have what to feed on, your own children cannot attend school in a school where you teach. So you have a scenario where you have children who are staying in a school compound, playing in a school compound, but you cannot educate your same children in this school. It is very horrible and it is very touching.
When you work, time comes when you stop working and you go and live life out of work as a senior citizen after service. Now with these meager resources, teachers are even failing to survive and support their families and educate their children, but at the age of 60, they are supposed to leave service, and the payment, which makes sense, however little it was, stops. So they are not able to make even savings, because if you don't save, you can't invest. But if they are living, for example, sometimes we find our teachers, like in my branch, Honorable Speaker, are staying in a single house, single room, and they have children. My fear now is, and I even wonder, maybe some of the children sleep under the bed at night. As mommy and daddy are on top, the children are pushed under the bed and some besides the bed, simply because they don't have enough space. Now the fear is after service, and it makes it worse if this teacher was staying in staff quarters. Now time comes when they retire, they tell them, pack your things and they go. Now go where? It's not because they can't invest, but the money is too little that they can't have a saving so that they can have an investment and build a home. Maybe the state would find a way of having a mortgage program in which they subsidize. Maybe a teacher contributes 30% because of the resources, and the state pays the 70%, so that at the age of 50, every teacher has a home in which they can retire to after service, so that they remain respectable member or citizens of this country, Honorable Speaker.
Okay.
I think what we're talking about here is quality education. That is what the country wants. That's what we want. Now, quality education is a symptom of an underlying factor. Quality education cannot just happen overnight. We all know that teachers are a fundamental element of education. Now, when As it is said, there is no quality of any, there's no education system of any country that is better than the quality of its teachers. Now, we cannot demand for quality education when the quality of teachers is poor. When we talk of conditions for the teachers, it's not just about salaries. But look at where the teachers are sleeping, like he said. Look at what the teachers are using. Look at the classroom materials they are using. I am a branch chairperson of Nakawa. In Nakawa, I have schools where you reach and you wonder whether they are in town or whether they are in the deepest village of Uganda. The buildings are very small. Some of them are about to collapse. The seats are not enough for the teachers. The whole environment does not show quality.
So it is not only the salary enhancement that disturb the teachers, but also the working conditions.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. It's not just the salary. Salary is one component, and it stands out because it's cash. But the rest of the materials, the rest of the enabling environment is also wanting. And we are crying out to government that even as it enhances the teachers' salaries, it is also very, very important that it looks at the other components of quality that can promote quality education. Because at the end of the day, these children we are training in very poor conditions will be the leaders. And what type of leaders are we going to have? Incidentally, these conditions are mainly in the public schools, which are owned by government.
A teacher is the most honorable, and it's the most honorable job, if I may say.
True.
A teacher is a living being. He's a living being in a sense that as a human being, he wants feeding. As a human being, he wants to sleep. He wants accommodation. As a living being, he needs medicine. As a living being, he needs to produce children. As a living being, he needs to have people around him.
Yeah.
That being the case, a teacher being the most noble job on earth, as the secretary said, to have a good teacher is like having a good cow. And in order to get milk, you have to give the cow the grass and water. Less water means less milk.
So in this case, you are getting you're not getting enough water and grass.
If a teacher is to give quality education,
Yeah.
he must be given quality remuneration and quality accommodation. I like the symbol of the union. That is the candle. A teacher, in the present circumstance, is like a candle. He gives out light, and when it is exhausted, the candle is thrown away and they look for a new candle. And that's very unfortunate. I was interacting with one teacher sometime last month. She was a lady, and she was saying, me, I cannot be married by a teacher. And then I asked, but you are a teacher yourself. Should a male teacher say he cannot marry a female teacher? And then I said, but I'm a teacher myself. Said, but you never mention it when you are in society. As people of Uganda and as teachers, being the soldiers that make even the president what he is, teachers must be given enough money to continue building this nation. Thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Please, you have 2 minutes.
These teachers are trained. They are well trained, whereby they can give quality work to the learners. But what comes along with the quality of service is the way these teachers, the conditions they are working in. For example, I was watching NTV News. They featured a school called Uganda. The good thing, I passed by that school as I'm going home. The school is full of holes. The walls are almost collapsing. I saw the head teacher's office where the head teacher was seated. It was not good at all. Secondly, I want to talk about the distance. When you talk of the distance, the teachers are moving from homes to schools. It is alarming, whereby the accommodation is not enough. And when they come to school, they use a lot of funds, which money is not paid to them. So if the government can think of like setting up the villages for teachers villages, and put there like vehicles to transport these teachers to the schools where they are going to work from. In the evening, they pick them up to go to their homes. I think it can work.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Member. You'll probably get another time. When you talk about the welfare of teachers, the salaries, the meager salaries, you don't look like people who are getting meager salaries. You look very healthy. I don't know how you manage it. I don't know how you manage it. But thank you for standing with the nation and ensuring that the children get quality education, despite the living conditions and working conditions that you are facing. Let's go for a short break, and when we come back, we shall hear more from the teachers. Yes, welcome back. You are still watching NTV People's Parliament, sitting here in Kampala at Teachers House, discussing the problems that affect teachers. As I can remind you, they have been having industrial action over years, but whenever the president talks to them, I don't know how he talks to them, they always call off their industrial action and they go back to class. But this is good. That means we have respectable workers in this country, and somebody told me they are really patriotic. These teachers are really patriotic. That despite the promises that will never come true, they will always go back and teach our children. Thank you, teachers. Thank you so much.
I'll talk about the teacher vis-a-vis the security of this country. I'm not talking about the security of guns. I'm talking about total security. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I hear people say, we have done everything possible in Uganda, and it's not possible anymore to be done here. Therefore, we must go out for better treatment. What does that mean? That there is something wrong with the quality of the product. If you think you are saving money by not enhancing the teachers' salaries, that is insecurity in itself. You must provide some money, therefore, in the future to ensure that you get the same service outside this place. If it all starts with the teachers, then it is prudent that this be done now, and so that the teachers can create a total person, so that in the end, we have a total quality product. Supervision, Madam Speaker. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I ask myself, do we still have education supervisors? And people are quick to say yes. I ask myself, what are they supervising? Are they supervising teaching or learning? In effect, we should be supervising learning. For learning to take place, the teacher must prepare. Have you enhanced that teacher to prepare where the teacher is staying? First of all, is he or she prepared to prepare the living conditions under the current dispensation? Do they give that person proper preparation to teach? And I want to assure you that every time you deny these teachers enhancement, you are denying them preparation. And therefore, at the end of the day, the output is definitely going to be very, very substandard and cannot be employable. And therefore, it comes back to us, or it comes back to you as planners of this country. It all comes back to one thing, that a teacher in class must be a total person there. The mind must be there, the soul must be there, and the body must be there. This is only possible when these teachers, wherever they are coming from, wherever they are staying, they actually feel that they are people who are being looked at with a view that what they are putting across is worth it.
Okay.
You parents, I will ask you today, is the teaching profession worth it? Would you wish your children to join this profession? Are the children eager to join this profession? And if they are not, then think about it.
I want first of all to talk about teachers' conditions of service. When you look at the meager income we earn, and then we are taxed, really you wonder, is there really a need for taxation from teachers? Are you aware members we are motivated by threats? Because when we say this, we shall do that. We say this, we shall do this. So we are threatened to go back to work. And we are working because we love children of Uganda, and above all, Uganda. I want to say that it's not fair taxing teachers from that very little income. Therefore, I would propose, if need be, let it be suspended by so-called, they call them statutory what? Instruments, that they give them mandate to tax us. They would think about that. The second thing, that little money which is kept from us, they said are keeping for us. At 20, I started teaching. Now I'm 40, 45. Look, they say, don't access this money, we are keeping the money for you. At 90 or at what age? They would think about giving me this money when I'm still strong enough. Perhaps I could raise some birds there and I earn extra income so that we reduce the pressure to ask for increments. Because I know they may not have enough money for the increments we deserve, but they should also think about that. Here we are, we don't have any additional, call it benefit, like insurance, taking our children for medication, maybe the wives, we don't. Even teachers ourselves, we don't. They would think about that. If there is very little money for increments, let's have access to medical facilities. Let's have access to insurance. And maybe a development fund for the teachers, separate, put aside.
When the speaker made the statement that we look better despite the meager salaries, I want to bring you to the attention that there is a local saying in my language that literally meaning that this poor man who has one cow that is tethered around the grass that is near him, this cow eats it exhaustively to make sure it lives on that other grass that it has. That's the saying I wanted to bring to your attention, because we concentrate on the little that we have and we just live by our means and we look how we look. But it's not because we earn much. I want to tell you, honorable members and the speaker, that I want to bring the exact view of the teacher down there, not in Kampala.
But in Bududa.
Not in Bududa, but in Ibanda, in Rukunjiri, down the world there, not in the Kampala setting. Look at this young teacher who is going to ride a bicycle for 17 kilometers every morning, going to work for 390,000. For the rest of his life up to 60. Imagine his life on a bicycle because he cannot afford a motorcycle and possibly a car because he is a professional. And you tell us that this teacher is earning 390 and that is his entire life. I want members to make a reflection and imagine he has rode this old bicycle for all this time and is expected in class at 8 and is paid 390. Now, this money is consolidated into very many things. Riding allowance, standing allowance, marking allowance, assessment allowance, and it is all in 390, and my country is looking innocent at the teacher, and innocently when we are called, we say we love, we are patriotic, and we get back to work. And I want to urge you, every person in this country, to look at this teacher. Because 70 or 80 or 90% of this country were nurtured in these rural schools. They are taught by these teachers on bicycles. Up to today, they are still on bicycles. And this innocent member of parliament still believes that this teacher is comfortable and is there. I want to believe that they may be cast at some time. Because they are not looking at the people who nurtured them. Now, I want to bring something very interesting. Look at these learners who are so innocent. Innocent as the word, because they look at the teacher as the Alpha and the Omega, the Prince of Peace, everything. But at some time when they grow up, if you ask them, do you intend to become a teacher? In P1 they say, I want to be a teacher in the song as they are singing. In the P2 it is the same song, but when they are in senior 4, the song changes because they have understood the real art of life. They look at the teacher as the most miserable. We are ruining the profession that has made this country to be where it is. I am appealing to government and those in power to look at today, making a reflection of the past, and imagine the future. If the teachers, the learners they are teaching are looking at that in that perspective, what will where will the teaching profession be tomorrow? Where will be our country in some time to come? Because there shall be no teachers, because the students today don't want to join the profession because of the condition their teachers are working in.
I want to talk about two things, mainly, to prove to you that teachers are really despised. You find somebody in a market, you meet OBs, you meet OGs. What is your profession? Where did you stop? Where did you end? What? You tell them, I'm a teacher by profession. The comment somebody will make is, Bambi, Oli Musomesa. Now, to show that really they are despising us.
That the profession is so miserable.
Yes, that is what it means. Sometime back they told us, when we saw the salary was really very little. For me, I started with about 35,000. I remember. It was so little. And they told us that when you upgrade, government told us when you upgrade, your salary also increases. We tried. We could struggle with your children, struggle. They struggle with you fees, you also struggle. But at a certain point, 1999, they said, the ceiling is now on. No more grade 5 teachers. But they could encourage us to go and study. The government says go and study. Some schools, if you have not studied, like now to become a head teacher, you must have maybe masters. We said, what is this? But on top of that, we have teachers who have masters, but they are still getting the salary of 390, which was talked here. They are still grade 3 teachers. Sincerely, what should we do? You spend a lot of money to go for this education. You start as grade 2, grade 3, grade 5, graduate. You go ahead to get masters. No increment. What is all this? And yet other professions, the more you upgrade, the more salary. We are still at U7 with our masters, they are sleeping. Sincerely, that is despising us. Secondly, there are those who have retired, whom I have seen. You retire, they start saying the package is not ready. You start moving. You have, for example, you have gone back to Kabale. You start moving on the bus, you have nowhere to sleep. Come to Kampala, today you sleep at the other friend, come tomorrow, public service. Come the other day, you don't have this document. Then you ask yourself, where are my documents which I gave to you? Go back to this college and bring back the document. You go back, they need money. Just satisfying a copy of your document, you have to pay for it. Sincerely, what are we going to do? You work until maybe 2 years have elapsed. You even die. No pension, no what, nothing. Now,
And you die and leave your pension.
Yes. And when some people start chasing for it, again, there is a problem. Bring this document, they cannot locate it. Bring this, and yet we give them our document. On top of that, some people have retired, and they don't even get this money which they are supposed to get, that half pay. They don't get it. 3 months, 4 months, nothing. What are we going to do? So we are requesting government to look into all those things. I'd forgotten this element of being senior assistant. Sincerely speaking, we don't know the criteria they use for somebody to become a senior. I am more than senior. But you can imagine, I am not a senior yet. I don't know when I am going to become a senior. Thank you, our Honorable Speaker, for listening. Dear members of Parliament, thank you.
Thank you. She is overqualified, but she has not. She has not yet become a senior. Let's go for a short break. Do not go away. NTV People's Parliament comes back shortly. Yes, welcome back. You are still watching your favorite program, NTV People's Parliament. As I always tell you, it is the only program in this country that gives the citizens a platform to speak about issues that affect their everyday life, affect their communities, and policies that affect them. We are seated here in Kampala at Teachers House discussing the policies that affect teachers in this country. Yes, honorable members, can I have this lady?
I'm a counselor, non-counselor for the government. I did counseling and guidance. But as well, I feel like I'm a teacher too. Because in my sector, there are a lot of things concerned by the teachers. But me, I will emphasize about the poor working conditions of the teachers. It's really hurting. Most of the teachers have now withdrawn from schools, from the teaching association, just because they are not provided with the resources, no allowance, no nothing. When I was growing, my mother used to say that my teachers don't get old. You grow up and you find your teacher the way you saw him when you're growing. But now, for me, my teachers are growing old. All my teachers have withdrawn. One of my teachers, the best one I had in geography, is now in brickmaking. Just because of what? Of poor living conditions they are living in. You find teachers that most of them now are making their own life, just taking alcohol, because there is some school we visited, the teacher was all drunk, beating children in class, and just saying that I just live my life, I'm having a lot of stress, and we had to talk to this teacher, and it's like, I don't know what to even do. My children are also staying home. This is because
so the stress drives them to do.
The stress drives them to do.
Imagine a teacher who is earning 390,000 shillings, is renting a one-roomed house, and he is living on one meal maybe a day, and he has 5 children. Some are sleeping under the bed, and others around the bed, maybe others in the chair. What do you expect?
Yes.
What do you expect this teacher to do, really? And he's living in the city where people are driving and eating in Hotel African and Sheraton.
The stress is too much, and they're just not even respected. According to, even I wanted to go for a Bachelor of Education, but now I'm no longer interested in it. Like seriously, because when you see things happening in our country, you feel like, let me stick on my counseling and guidance course. Maybe I would work in the organization where I can get different allowances, per gems and all that.
Because even if you graduate, the salary remains the same, according to the honorable member who has just spoken. Okay.
But you may not do that.
Okay,
so I call upon the government to really come up. We will fight as also the stakeholders. I'm with you, even if it's work naked. It's benefits to work hard. I'm with you. I'm with my teachers. I have to fight my teachers. I have to see my teachers in schools. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member. It is really heartening to see that the generations are not interested in teaching profession anymore. Which kind of teachers are we going to have in the future for this country?
Honorable Speaker, I want to appreciate the government of the Republic of Uganda. At one time when I qualified as a teacher in 1990, the salary that I earned, the first salary I earned, was 4,335 shillings.
In 1990?
That's 1990. At that time, that was
4,000?
4,335 shillings.
A barmaid would be earning this money at that age?
Today, as we talk, we are talking about 390,000. So you can see a difference of about 29 years, and the increment is very meager. We appreciate the government, but we are saying let the government look into that. I'm giving you a history, because I love history. As even the president yesterday, when he was giving about his speech about the budget, he was giving the history from 1940. So I'm also giving you the history of the salary of a teacher from 1990 today. We are talking about 390,000 from 4,335 shillings. That's the money they expect a person to live. In comparison, Madam Speaker and honorable members of Parliament, we have colleagues who are serving this nation and are tax-freed. They are even uniformed. They are given pairs of clothes to put on and are given the service.
Which profession
not
is that?
We have the army, the government gives them uniform. We have the prisons, gives them uniform. We have the police, they are given uniform in pairs. They are even given a transport, Madam Speaker. Look at the teacher, no uniform, although we are proud that we are very smart. Indeed, that is how we are trained as teachers. However little you earn, never show what you are, but show them that you are now a teacher. And that's how we're trained. And me, I'm proud to be a teacher. I'm proud to be a teacher. And that's why I'm here. Look at the conditions of a teacher. From the time this Wamboka qualified in 1990, he's rubbing the duster every day for the last 29 years, inhaling that chalk. Where is the health of this teacher? And that's why we are having a number of teachers dying these days. As we talk, we have received information about 3 teachers have passed on yesterday and 1 today. Probably could be chalk. What we call OSH, Occupation, Health, Safety at place of work. How safe are our teachers down there? So we are saying, government, can you provide healthy gears for our teachers? Because we are looking at good conditions of service. We are looking at quality service. Do we have those gears in our schools? Is there any school members that has got those gears? The nose, the mouth, the gloves? Do we have any? Now, that's the government is not thinking about the health of the person who is providing education service. So it's a call to the government of Uganda that let it be looked into the condition of this teacher like any other person who is giving the service.
For me, I'm going to talk about promotion of quality education. Please, Honorable Speaker, allow me to read.
Please.
Thank you. Quality education enables people to develop their attributes and skills to achieve their potential as human beings and members of the society. Government and other public authorities should ensure that quality education is available freely to all citizens from early childhood to adulthood. Now, we may ask ourselves, what is the importance of quality education? Getting knowledge and skills. When we get quality education, we are able to get knowledge and skills. Although many children in schools can't read and write despite attending school for several years. Therefore, there is need of provision of quality education in schools. Elements of quality education. The first element is teachers. Without teachers, nothing is going to work. Thank you. Without teachers, even our president, he wouldn't have been a president. Now, That means that the teacher must always be provided with everything he or she needs.
As the Honorable said that pupils don't want to become teachers at senior 4, but I'm in primary 7 and I don't want to become a teacher. Why? Because my teacher puts on one shirt. For me, I cannot do that. I have 2 pairs of uniforms so I can wash them every day. But for my teacher, he puts on the same shirt for 3 days. I can't do that.
So you can't become a teacher?
Yes, because I cannot put on one shirt for 3 days. I will start smelling. Their salaries, the teacher's salary should be above 700,000 shilling. Don't they have children? They also want to educate their children. Don't they mean that they should educate their other children and they don't educate their own children? Even the relatives come, please take my child in your school, please take my child, as if he's going to give them for free. Who will pay for them school fees? They tell, you are a teacher, you teach them, but doesn't he want money? Teachers spend a lot of time at school doing more work than other civil servants. Civil servants even sometimes attend to their personal issues, but the teacher, when it's his or her lesson, is there only just teaching, doesn't mind about the phone has come, but he says, no, I'm still busy. But the civil servants, first wait, I have a call to take.
But a teacher will not pick a phone call when he's on the blackboard.
Yes.
Oh, solidarity forever.
Teaching conditions are fair in urban settings. At least my school, Uganda, at least it has fair conditions. But let me see the schools in up countries. A teacher is teaching 2,000 children under one tree. What if it is a rainy season? Don't you expect the teacher to get sick? And now from where will the children learn? Whenever they have a governmental program, they call children come, medical first, children come, because the children are the nation. Now when there's no teacher, how do you think that the child will learn? Thank you.
Thank you. This is coming from a pupil who really feels the plight of her teachers.
The Honorable Speaker was wondering why teachers look good, yet we are complaining about mega salary. The truth is, many of us teachers have loans in the banks. Sincerely speaking, teachers in KCCA, you know what we have been going through because our salary has just come. And of course, if you have a loan, get ready to pay the surcharge. You know, in towns, we have something called keeping up appearance. Yet, sincerely speaking, behind there in our homes, things are not moving on well because we have to pay loan per loan. Remember, teachers want to educate their children in what we call good schools. Okay. So, Honorable Member, I want to request at least the government. We know we cannot sort all the problems of the teacher at once. At least let the children of the teachers at least be given a special place, because of course we want good education. Maybe we get good environment in schools such that our kids are also happy, because we know all of us parents, teacher or no teacher, we need our children to be to receive good education, to be in a good environment, and of course to be proud of us, the parents, the teachers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know when that salary will be enhanced, but I thank you for the patriotism that you have experienced in this country and you are keeping in class up to now. When you begin to talk about matters that affect teachers, you will talk until the cows come back home. Because of the importance of this program, we shall have another program on the same topic next Saturday. I'm serious speaker Agnes Nandutu, and I aspire to inspire you before I expire. With powers conferred upon me as the Speaker of People's Parliament, I adjourn this house until next Saturday.